symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. Nitro Nick is here. Ryan is here. And WrestleMania 40 has now come, and it is gone. Both nights are in the books. And we have, well, they straight out told you, Nick, we do have a new era. Don't know what this era is going to be called. It's been called numerous different things, but apparently it is the Triple H era. Paul Levesque is the man now. And they made that very well known throughout the night, and then especially at the end, Cody Rhodes finishes his story. He is the new World Universal Galactic Empire champion, defeating Roman Reigns, finally defeating Roman Reigns. Someone has done it. Another long, crazy, tons of stuff going on match. We'll get to that in a second. Nick, overall on night 2, what are your thoughts? I thought it was better than night 1 altogether.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Is it my all-time favorite WrestleMania? No. Definitely better than 1. I thought the matches all the way down were better than 1. And, I guess people probably left happy, you would assume, right? Cody finished his story. Roman Reigns' incredible chapter, kind of comes to an end. I wonder if we'll ever see another one in our lifetime of that. Because I think a lot of people kind of like one of those sports athletes, you take them for granted while they're here. We hadn't seen this run since 84 to 88.
Hogan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Punk had like a 400-day reign in there, but nothing like 3.5 years.
A third, if not even a third, Punk had of Roman's,
Right.
Roman went for 1,300 plus days or something like that.
Yep. We will get to that in a minute. I do want to talk about Roman's legacy and everything. But yeah, definitely night 2 I thought was better than night 1. Let's start with the main event. Obviously, that's the game changer. If you
we're all here for, right?
Yep. If you can steal that line and take that away, that was definitely one everybody's talking about. Man, if you're a Job Guys watcher, listener, thank you. We appreciate it. And maybe you're not happy because we kind of unintentionally completely gave away what was going to happen in this match.
Pretty much down the card, Ryan, both nights. I don't mean to, Arn Anderson toot our own horn here, but toot, we did pretty well at our call. Not saying we usually are, but yeah, we did pretty well in the call outs on this one.
Well, and I think this kind of made sense, with the bloodline rules. Somebody had to come out and even the score. And that's what happened there in the last maybe 10 minutes of this match. Jimmy came out. Solo came out. He was intercepted by Jay. Solo was intercepted by John Cena, who allegedly retired him whenever that was, or he's the one that had his last match. So he came out and stopped him. Then all of a sudden the Shield music hits and you're sitting there going, no way, dude. Really? No way. No wonder Tony Khan's been so pissed lately. No way. And then it just ended up being Seth. And he gets dealt on immediately. Not a great night for Seth Rollins. We'll get into that. Or weekend. Yeah. He just immediately gets dealt on. And then the gong hits. And Taker's in there. And Taker nails Roman. And then, The Rock, who had come down. And then that was that. Match was over after that. Cody Rhodes is your world champion. I thought it was a fun match. And again, I kind of knew that all of that was going to happen as we said on the show, but it's what it was supposed to be, I think. And as we said, I think it's all those guys putting Cody over. And then at the end, the celebration like we've never seen before. That thing just kept going and going. At the end, everybody put him over as the next guy.
Yeah, I just wish Les would have made it into the ring, Ryan. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I wish maybe like Jimmy had been cut off by Jay, or if he does the kick, fine, but then maybe Solo gets cut by Cena on the ramp. Taker catches Rock at the ring apron or something. It was just a little bit too much because I didn't want to take away from Cody. I felt like I was watching a lot of stuff happen, and Cody kind of just was fading away into the background for a minute there. but he does then eventually get the win. And I think everybody was happy with it. I thought the match was wrestled pretty well too, all the way up until it turned into a free for all with everybody.
Right.
I think people are going to be happy. We'll see how good Cody does. You saw Roman and Paul have the embrace at the top
Yeah.
of the ramp.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some words said there, and then the celebration, it was like WrestleMania 10, but on steroids, right?
Yeah. Putting
You
Cody
know,
up on their shoulder,
yeah,
Bret Hart style.
and they did, Ryan. It's going to be called the Paul Levesque era, whether you freaking like it or not, man.
Yeah.
Any
I
of
mean, they
us,
said it on the air,
like, yeah, Stephanie, opens up with it, but yeah, I thought overall, I think people are gonna be happy though, Ryan, with
Yeah.
this and let's see what Cody can do now. Let's wait and find out what Roman does now.
That's a big one too. Yeah, where is Rome going to go? Is he taking a lot of time off? What's going to happen there? Yeah, it was. We mentioned it, and we always do. We talk about Russo Mania when we talk about overbooked stuff. WrestleMania 15, all the craziness that happened there. It was kind of like that here. I'm
It
not
was a
as
little
mad
bit.
at it.
At least there's a
It's not too bad.
story. These guys are all tied in.
Yes.
The Taker. I'm just sorry for everybody, myself included. I wish it would have been Austin and
Yeah.
not the Taker. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yep.
But it was okay.
Yeah,
was
it could have been him. It could have even been Brock Lesnar. Maybe he was
yeah.
supposed to be there and he didn't, so they put the Taker in there because they wanted to hit that gong. Um, there was a few things that were kind of weird. They had Brandy come out, and I wish that I don't know they thought that was going to make maybe humanize Cody even more. I think he should have been in the back with her or something, like in his locker room, tying his boots up, getting ready, and kind of like what they
That
did
would have
with
been cool.
Sammy, and
Yeah.
and then in KO, like getting him ready, maybe something like that. The mom thing, more mom, even though I guess that is the story. Much like night one, it was a lot of that stuff. But again, I do think that's what most people were looking to see out of that, and they got it. Yeah, it didn't make kind of strange that she was there though, like and coming down the aisle with him. I know a lot of people do not like her,
I don't
so
have any idea.
yeah,
Is it
and
is it
she
what's do
doesn't
you know why?
because of being on TV all the time on
Okay,
AEW.
I was
They think she was part of the reason why things stunk. Her gimmick switched 55 times
and they were
in
we- and they were
2 weeks.
bad. And they were
Yeah,
bad gimmicks. Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
get that.
Nightmare
Okay,
Collective and all that stuff. So
okay.
that's
I
part
was
of it.
just curious.
How about the Roman legacy? I mean, it's over now as far as this run. I don't think we're ever going to see one like this again. I can't believe we got the one we got because no way. If you would have told me somebody was going to hold the belt for 3.5 years, I would think you're out of your mind. So, for me, it's just we've talked about it before, and I know you liked Bailey and Sasha in the pandemic and the first couple of months. They did a great job, but to me, the guy that saved this company from the pandemic,
Oh, there's no doubt.
it was Roman Reigns. He completely changed this business. He changed the
100%.
way he worked with the talking, him and Jimmy and Jay in the ring while he's beating him up. He mentioned it, I think, in one of the press conferences that, like, hey, I stopped the silence, by literally telling stories in the ring by the way you're talking to your opponent and things like that. And I think all that worked, and this gimmick worked, and Heyman worked. It all perfectly worked together,
It did.
and it did up until last night.
It was right, and Ryan, I agree with you. Although I loved Sasha and Bailey during the COVID era, and I love Drew and I love Lashley, but they were kind of just keeping the boat afloat, Ryan, bailing out the water, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Roman plugged the holes.
Mm-hmm.
Roman came in and put a motor on the boat. Roman jump started the boat. Roman got the boat to shore.
In a new patch, and a new
Yes,
motor, and a different kind of motor.
and
Yeah.
gave me and I hope everybody else, if they took time, gave me a story that I won't forget, a story that's going to go down as one of the greatest stories in the history of wrestling. One of the greatest title runs in the history of wrestling. I get he wasn't out there. Do I wish he could have wrestled a few more? I get it. But if you look on his card, Ryan, I mean, he did beat
Everybody.
everybody. I mean, he
And
beat
they were
everybody.
rattling off dudes' names that weren't there anymore.
Right.
Edge, Daniel Bryan. They were
And
saying them.
and I do think if you had to, with his character, to err on the side of too much Roman or too less Roman, it's too less Roman. That it worked. It was special. Look at the SmackDown ratings, Ryan, when he comes, when he's not there. This guy, I was making my 100 list, Ryan. I just started throwing it together last Friday night. It's going to be hard for him, for me, and this is not my personal. This is the one who I think the biggest people in this entertainment is. I have Hogan at 1, Austin at 2. I believe I have Andre at 3. He's in my top 10. I don't know where I'm moving him to, but he's in the top 10, Ryan. He has now main evented the most WrestleManias
Ever.
in the history of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's
If
main
you
evented
count both
basically
nights, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and if you counting both nights, I mean, almost 10 of the 40 have been
Him.
I mean, I guess if you're counting, both nights too, so take that into
Right.
consideration, but still awesome.
You know how it is. They're going to put over this guy, but Cena's been saying for a while now that he is the greatest. And we know, take that with a grain of salt, but I mean, he's definitely in the conversation. And Cody was saying it last night after the match too. We're never going to see a guy like this again. We're not going to see a run like this. And again, out of the pandemic, bringing the people back. Nobody had ever had to deal with that. So, yeah, I'm the same. Like, he's up there on my favorite list, no doubt. Keeping him out of the top 10 is going to be very hard to do.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. I mean, you
'cause
just have to start thinking, like you've always said, who isn't there?
Right. Well,
it's hard to keep him out.
To springboard on, Cody Rhodes said, and then he quote, he hopes he can be half the champion Roman Reigns was. And I do too. Not saying that as an insult to Cody, as a hope for the business.
Yeah.
Roman was why we were watching, Ryan. Yeah. And when I look at that, I mean, is he bigger than Piper? I don't know. It's hard.
As a wrestler, maybe.
Right. As
overall,
an iconic,
I'm not sure.
But is he done yet?
Well, that too.
See, I mean,
he's not.
I don't know.
And now what happens? That's the big question.
Is he bigger than the guys who's his opponent's dad?
That's another one. Yeah,
I'm not insulting. People may be quick to jump at these. I mean, but you got to start looking at things in consideration, man. I mean, he held the belt, the WWE belt, for a very extended period of time, rejuvenized wrestling like no one I've seen since Hogan.
Yeah, and as big as Cody is, half of this story, if not more of, people didn't want to see Cody beat anybody else. They didn't want to see Cody beat Seth. They wanted to see Cody beat Roman. That's who they wanted. And, without Roman, that can't happen. So that tells you, and they were not taking, as we found out, they were not taking no for an answer. They completely rebooked this card because people wanted to see Cody beat Roman.
Ryan, we could go down
Says
the
a
list.
lot.
The Usos are not where they are. They don't get that historic title run if there's no bloodline angle with Roman. Sami Zayn, there's nothing you can say to me that could tell me he would even remotely be where he is right now.
Might not be on the card.
It's fair enough to say. I mean, in Cody Rhodes, I mean, it just these people's their build off this story. Paul Heyman, even he is larger than life now. Argument, is he better than Bobby? Why? Because of Roman. Though, if he was managing Brock, would we be? I would still put him above Bobby above him before the bloodline happens. I don't know now.
Right.
I mean, Ryan, this guy's impact on the industry man, oh man, it's gonna I think it's huge.
And I don't, yeah, what do we do now? That's going to be the interesting thing. You mentioned right when they got to the end of the aisle, Heyman stopped and hugged Roman. It looked like Roman was crying. If you see a
Yeah.
certain angle of that, they do that on purpose. Where's that going? What's going to happen with that? Is that something we're going to see on SmackDown Friday?
Could just be the end of a great story,
Or it
right?
could be, and they just decided, screw it, we're gonna hug right here in front of
Yep.
everybody. But I mean, I don't know.
I don't
Is
know.
that going somewhere? What's that all about? Very interesting to see what happens there.
You
Okay.
got it.
You mentioned it. The Bloodline has now headlined both nights 2 years in a row. Think about that, man. 2 years in a row. They have been on top both nights. Back to the beginning. We had Triple H the first night. All of a sudden, here comes Steph. She's introducing night two. And, they did a lot of talking with her. Good to have you back. We are so glad you're home. You're where you should be. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, is she involved?
TKO
Is
has
she
also just
staying?
bought like $3 more billion of Vince's stock this morning. So it'll be only a matter of time before his name is completely erased off this company. All right, Nick, I know here's one you and a whole lot of other people were looking forward to. Drew against Seth, World Championship. We were expecting some kind of major surprises on this
We
show.
got one.
We got it right out of the gate, Nick.
Yeah.
Go
This
ahead with
was a
this
big match. I thought it was going to be a very good match because I think both these guys, can go. I think Drew McIntyre has been the closest thing to being as hot as to Roman that you can get right now. He is awesome. I am, you know me, I'm a Seth Rollins mark. I love him. CM Punk on commentary. Something's got to go here,
Yep,
right?
something's happening.
I like Drew coming out. Like, was that a tribute to Piper? I know it was Piper, his entrance music, but it is
Yeah, and
also a
he's Scottish,
stereotypical.
but
Yeah,
yeah, and
I don't
Sting's
know
drum line also.
because
Yeah,
I
don't
was I was
forget
just
about that.
it went yeah it went through my head too that because Piper had never won that belt, and this guy he's heading out there to do it right now at WrestleMania. Comes out. I didn't get Seth's band that was out with him. That was really weird to me. It felt like what was that guy, Adam Rose-ish?
Yes, yes.
When they all came out. I didn't like that. Now I'm gonna take this, and I know you're gonna disagree with here. I love Seth Rollins out. I freaking was into it. I know you're. I freaking loved it. I don't know what it was. I just love Seth Rollins, but yeah. So their entrances, I think it's a great way to start this show because you got the other world title at the end that this cannot even complete beat with. So let's get it as far away from it as we can and get this going. And they put on a good match. However, Ryan, felt like this was Taker HBK the whole time, man. It was just kick out of Claymore, kick out. I think they made the Claymore and the stomp
Yeah.
look bad.
Worthless. Yeah.
Because those were, and I'm going to say this again, it happened all night. The RKO, not a move people generally kick out of.
Like ever.
Claymore and the stomp are not on, but they're there too. People don't kick out of those all the time.
Right.
And to see those Drew must have hit 7, 8, 9 in them. I don't know how many. Seth hit multiple stops, I think, including one on the outside. That was the match was worked fine. I mean, the guy's got just too many of the kicking out of, I guess, just moves because they're not really finishing moves if they don't and
finish.
then McIntyre taunting Punk. Punk starts beating the trash out of him. He's not ready, right? Here comes Damian Priest. I don't know. Like, I get it. I think we're just putting the belt back on Drew at Clash at the Castle. Is that probably the plan?
I would expect, yeah.
You would. I just Seth Rollins has worked all year, Ryan, and I think whether you like him or anybody hates him, loves him, he has kind of legitimized this belt as much as you can without having people verbally tear it down all year, which we've seen that too. But he's put a little bit of what do you call it, spark to this belt or prestige to it. Damian's not ready. I don't know. And then you're just going to put the belt back on Drew. I think it just crushes a lot of what you tried to build with this belt.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think Drew is going to get it back. It does play into Drew's character.
Yeah, he's been with Judd.
He can't let things go, and he's got something else to be mad about. So that completely fits his character. We'll see what they do with Priest. And obviously you're set up for Punk and Drew. I was surprised at like how short this match was. It's only like 10 minutes long. So I was kind of
each other.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that. And obviously the finish, I didn't necessarily see that coming, but it's fine. It does make sense for the character. We'll see where he goes now. Now he's just going to be even more on a mission, but he's a bad guy, and our Judgment Day bad guy still interesting there, that dynamic.
Yeah, maybe that's a great question, Ryan. For maybe we get a flip on them. I mean, because Rhea's getting cheered. Dominic seems more aligned with the Escobar faction. Yep. They may be getting frustrated with that. I don't know.
Now we got Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits against the Final Testament. This was maybe the match that maybe had the least juice out of the entire weekend. Not too many people wanted to even see this. So what did they do? They gimmicked the whole thing up. Philadelphia street fight. You got all the weapons you can possibly have. And then we get a special referee as well. It's Philly. It's ECW. Here comes Bubba. Your thoughts on this one, Nick?
I thought Bubba worked for the ref. I thought that was kind of cool. It was a little surprise when you're there in the audience. That's kind of cool. The ending. Yeah, I just don't know. The table breaking at the end. Ryan, I just wasn't into this match. Like, I mean, there's just nothing there. Yeah. I'm glad that these guys won. I don't even know what their name is. I think they've been given a name, Lashley and the Profits, Prime or something. No, maybe that's a drink, I guess, but I can't remember. It just wasn't there for me. I don't know, Ryan. I don't have anything to say about this match. I don't think it was very good. I just didn't care.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I just didn't care. I think they did as well as they could, but by bringing all those guys out there, that tells you how much the other guys aren't really over. When you have to bring Bubba out, when you have to Devon get the tables, and you have to do all this stuff, it tells you the other guys, they are not caring too much. So yeah, anyway, Lashley and them won, which they should have. So
yes, I put my money on Lashley and the Profits over the other three.
Yep, and they did. So there you go. All righty. Next up, LA Knight gets his WrestleMania victory. He beats AJ Styles in 12:30. This is another match that didn't have as good of heat, juice, whatever coming in. It just kind of happened. 12 and a half minutes. LA Knight gets your win.
I thought, Ryan, it was my favorite match other than why I want to see. Yeah, I thought because LA Knight, I'm sorry, guys and gals, I like him. He's not on AJ's level in that ring. He's not anywhere near AJ's level in that ring. I hope we can agree on that.
Sure.
I thought AJ looked awesome. I thought AJ helped him get through this thing. I thought AJ made Knight look like $1 million. I think this is the best I've seen AJ wrestle. He has been very blah, and I haven't really thought his matches have been phenomenal in a very long time. I thought this match was great. I liked it. Shades of Hogan Andre with a little tribute with pulling back the mat and then the backdrop on the outside. I don't know why I always think of Hogan's.
I hope they didn't do that on purpose.
Because I don't know if that's a dig or something, but because that's not one of the better points of that match.
Oh no. No, he literally sets him down like a child on the
he pulls the
mat up.
But Knight wins, blocks the flying, or AJ again took a massive bump. Knight hits the ropes, AJ falls, comes in, blunt force trauma. Knight needs to win.
Yep.
Got the win. I would like them to start if they're gonna. I hope we can do because it's something AJ, Cody. Here, Bloodline, not Bullet Club.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see AJ get some wins. I'd like to see him maybe feud with somebody else up into this next pay-per-view, win a few matches on Raw, win at the pay-per-view, and then maybe we could do something at Money in the Bank with a little momentum for Styles.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. So we'll see where they go. I mean, the guy's in the best shape of his life. I don't know how
He
much
is
help he's
phenomenal.
had or whatever, but man, he looks good.
He's one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time, in my opinion. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, and that's release overhead suplex off the top rope was sweet too. He flipped all the way over and
Yeah,
landed
he
on
did.
his.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was sweet.
that's
That
going to
looked
leave a
good.
mark.
All right, here's maybe the match of the night as far as work goes. U.S.
Good
title.
match.
Logan
That's two
Paul.
back-to-back. Yeah.
He wins. He takes out KO and Randy Orton just under 20 minutes in this one. Go ahead, Nick. This was a great match. And again, the right guy won, I think.
Yeah, we called these both the night Styles and the fatal three-way or whatever we're calling it here. I thought it was got a great match too, man. You knew what kind of I hope as the Paul Levesque era moves forward, things aren't always as obvious as what's gonna happen. The Orton and KO were way too close for way too many weeks.
Yep.
You knew that was going to be the issue. Who gets to pin him, or one of them accidentally hits the other,
Yep.
and but I thought it was another really good match, a WrestleMania, and the right guy won, Ryan. Team Paul is loaded. We talked about this on the show yesterday. Team Paul is loaded with the gold. I'm excited for Team Logan Paul with Waller and Theory as the tag champs over there on SmackDown. So I ain't got much more to say on it other than it was a really great match.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. We called that months ago. We're like, these guys are going to get together. They fit perfectly. And they were feuding with KO too, and he was punching both of them at the same time and all that. And we're like, I think these two guys are going to go with Logan because they all have that kind of douchey attitude or whatever you want to say, And I think they all work perfectly together.
And Ryan, I'll tell you this, that may be a Paul Levesque thing. Rather than make them Logan's job guys, we're putting the belts on them. These guys are actually pretty good. It's not, let's not do what we did with Cody and DiBiase. Maybe they got to touch the belts for a minute. They kind of became job guys, for Randy Orton. Hopefully Logan Paul, the game plan should be to elevate these two gentlemen. I would hope.
Yeah, there was some great spots in here too. I thought the finish was great. The frog splash, dude, he was way up there. The pop-up power bomb into the RKO was sweet. There was a lot of good stuff there. And dude, the guy in the prime bottle took a live round too, so that was pretty funny. All right. Women's Championship. Bayley defeats Io 15 minutes to win the belt, get a revenge on her former friends from Damage Control.
Another job guy prediction. We got, I don't think it was that tough of a call.
This was the easiest one of the night, I think.
Bayley, it was weird, the Egyptian thing. All right, cool.
At the beginning?
Yeah, her entrance.
Yeah.
But not to be outdone, Ryan. Here comes convulsions all the way down to the,
it's what she does. It's weird.
It's what all of them do. Can they be different? Like all the Damage Control girls just spit stuff, paint their faces, convulse. Or dance. Let's get some depth to these girls. Io can work. We said yesterday, Kairi Sane, she's awesome. But again, this was one of those matches I think they could have had better build. She was feuding with Dakota Kai up to a couple weeks ago, and it's a pretty good match. More kickouts on finishers again, tons of them.
Yeah.
And the right person wins with her move. I think it's called the Rose Plant.
Yeah.
So she wins. Let's see what Bayley can do. I hope they don't retreat her into the hugger gimmick or something like that. And let's leave the ding dong ditch door thing in the ditch and never bring that back again either, because I felt like that ruined her.
There was a couple things in this match that I didn't. You're right. The entrances, they're like, what are we doing here? They're just doing something to do it. Cole says out of the gate, he says, Io is one of the most underrated champions of all time. I'm like, how is she even rated? Like, she hasn't done anything. Like,
I was
that's
going to
why she's underrated, because
steal
he
your line.
literally has done nothing.
Your line has always been, yeah, kind of, except the exact opposite of
Yeah.
what you just said. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. You meaning most overrated? Or
Yes.
yeah.
And fought anybody.
Yeah. I'm like, how is she even rated? Like, she's had no feuds. Yeah, it's been kind of rough if you ask me. Um, I thought you just mentioned something else. The finish was a little flat to me, even though she got cheered because she won. I don't think the crowd knew what Bailey was doing. I don't think they knew what her finisher was or that sequence of moves. And so they were kind of flat until you saw 1, 2, 3, and they're like, oh, hey, our girl won. Yay. Um, so I thought that kind of was a little dry there. EO did an elbow, and you mentioned Kyrie. They're in the same faction. She did it. She should never do it again. Not if Kyrie's doing. I
Only
mean,
one person goes in the pool, man.
yeah, only one person goes in the pool, brother. And she shouldn't be, first of all, because she's in that girl's group. Her elbow is
Worse.
way better.
Yeah, don't.
So you should never do it if Kyrie is doing the elbow.
Right.
Just wanted to get that in there too. And in capitals, never do it is on my thing here. Well, all right, Nick, we have gone through this entire card. As you said, I think this match, this night was better. It is going to leave a lot of people happy. Cody has hinted at there being a new belt tonight, probably at least even temporarily. We know he loves the Winged Eagle belt, and he has posted pictures of the other belt, the one his dad did not win. So I'm wondering if somehow that
Might get
finds
some
its
light
way
shed
onto
on that
TV tonight.
Yeah.
Anything about the weekend? It's been 40 years now, man, and we've seen all of these probably a million times. After 40 of them, did this live up to, every 10 seemed to be pretty good. 10 was good, 20 was good, 30 was amazing, 40. Did it live up to, the every 10-year thing, or what do you think?
I don't, maybe because of the ending. I think people are going to leave with a happy taste in their
Yep.
mouth, so that's good. I had texted someone earlier today and I said, it's not top 15, but it won't be bottom 10. Does that make sense? Like, I
Yep.
don't know where it falls, but it certainly, I don't think, is in my top 12 to 15. I don't think it makes my bottom 40 though. I mean, I'm sorry, my bottom 40 wrestling, my bottom 10. I would say it's probably somewhere around 20, 16,
Middle of the
17,
road.
18 as rating, I don't know. But I think it's a page turner. I think we're ready to move forward from a lot of
Yeah.
these stories
Or
that
they made
happened
that
on here.
quite obvious. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Cody and the bloodline thing is coming to an end or at least Roman and Cody are.
Yep.
I think hopefully, on a lesser note, even Lashley is hopefully putting Cross behind him. These Sammy and Gunter, I don't know if there will be a rematch or whatnot there, but we're looking. I don't know why you would take the belt off Gunter just to put it right back on
Right.
him. So I
None.
assume Sammy will finish this off within a month and move on. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess we are kind of, it's really another page. Hopefully, we got some stuff. A lot of guys, Ryan and gals, what do they do now? Is the big question. It really is. Even Bailey, like when we're done feuding with Damage Control, what does she
Yeah, and
do?
is she done? I don't know that they're done, because there's so
Yeah, I
many of
don't
them. Does she
either.
fight Asuka? Does she
She's
fight
got,
Kyrie?
yeah,
Does she
four
fight
different people.
Dakota? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Um,
But yeah, I think you nailed it with it was the opposite of WrestleMania 17. The finish is what people wanted, and that is
yeah,
what they're going to remember. It
yes.
didn't leave a bad taste in their mouth at all. They got to see all their old stars and friends and the Taker and
Yep.
whatever. They got to see all them. Their guy won. They had a party at the end. Mom was in the ring, actually. That shot with the belt and the mom was pretty sweet. I got to admit that. That was pretty good.
Endings alone is probably a top 10 because it ends one of the greatest stories of all time.
Yeah, and
That,
people were saying it even higher than that.
that
People were
alone,
excited.
yeah, that alone would put the ending for sure. If you're talking about best endings to WrestleMania, it's going to rate very high and rightfully so, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. Obviously not as good as last year. Last year,
No.
I think, shocked the world. And we were all like, did we just see a top 5, top 3 Mania ever? Like, on 2 different nights? Like, nobody could believe it that we got it that good. Obviously, that did not happen here, but it is good. And it's going to be interesting again because they said 4 million times that we are entering a new era. They said everything but Vince's name, and that's over. You even had Bruce and Triple H come out still on TV, which I was very shocked.
Pritchard, I was shocked came out. I was shocked to see Pritchard. But
and he's the one that got Cody, so that's why, but the fact that even, Triple H came out on television, I mean, he's a curtain call guy, but, I was shocked by that. So, in the Hall of Fame, too, they were all over Triple H at the Hall of Fame. And so it is definitely a new time, that's for sure.
Locker room seems to like him. So, and that can make a big difference, too.
Yep. You want to work for this guy. You want to put this guy's company over, so there you go, man. WrestleMania 40 is in the books, and now we take a tour of Europe, I think, for the rest of the summer. So
okay,
we'll see where that goes, man. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We've pumped out videos like mad here the last couple days, so please hit like, please hit subscribe, and please keep watching. We appreciate it. Helps other people see the show, and we'll try to keep doing it here now that Mania is done. We got to find something else to talk about here, Nick. We've been talking about Mania.
Well, this is the downtime. This is the downtime, right? Hopefully we get some good stuff, and maybe we can try to run some stuff back or do some lists here for some people. And we just talked about where Roman rates.
Yep.
Might be a discussion.
Might be. All right, guys. One more time. Appreciate it. Job, guys. Out.
You smell something, it's us, because we're the stuff.